Alrighty. Hello, buddy that's here and anybody that's in the VOD. Hey, we're gonna work on the treads for this bad boy. Plan is to make them white and then uh, put a bunch of rust effect on them with uh, dirty down rust. And then we're gonna dry brush some black back in and then add metallics at the end so that it looks like a very dirty, weathered. We're just gonna start slapping some white on this bad boy. Probably could airbrush this, but I don't want to deal with taping and masking and all that shit. Kind of wishing I would airbrush this now, though. I always just do the edges and then come back to airbrush the middle part. City floating. You know what? Since we're going to be handling this bad boy, let's just put the glove on. Oh yeah. Whoops. Oh, it's the bottom. We shouldn't go too crazy with the white, or I'm going to use a ton of rust. Hide it. This is pretty good coverage. Kind of being stubborn about it. Glad there's so much rust on this, it's not going to matter. Cool. I think we can thin that down with some alcohol real quick. Johnny Jeans. Long time no see, man. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good too. Work kind of kicks my butt today, so my back's kind of sore. But fun painting this. We're going to be rusting up these treads pretty shortly here. Kind of just got to wait for the paint to dry. Constantly dealing with commissions now. I'm going to be doing the Pyramid Kill Team pretty soon. And Grimnar the other day. You know, staying busy, stuff like that. Got cats who are being very picky and demanding about their food lately. Stuff takes ages to get mixed up. That Necron Kill Team is pretty sweet. Kind of hope I get to paint. I haven't painted Necrons, I think, ever. They look like a lot of fun. Ooh, a competition. Okay. Is the Geomancer the one you're prepping, or is it a different one? And how do you feel about your chances in the competition? You got a lot of other good painters there or anything? The assembly doesn't line up, you mean? Like gaps to fill or something? Oh, okay. Random mini or random paints. Oh, interesting. That sounds kind of fun. And you have to use those 4 paints only. Like, oh, jeez, I just fucking threw my shaker at someone. Do browns work with the mini you got? What is the mini? Got some wet patches in here. Honestly, it's fine if it looks a little sloppy to me. Inquisitorial agent. I'm gonna look that up real quick. I can't keep all the inquisitors apart in my brain. Okay. Sounds gonna be an interesting one then, because like these guys are supposed to be kind of like maybe not royalty, but at least moderately well ranked. Oh. Brown's not necessarily like a highly noble color. It's a pretty sweet pose on that one. They'll have the leather stuff down pretty well. Fairly well, okay. Oh, that's a good idea. I suppose the metallic medium is the biggest question point in terms of whether they're okay with that. This held by like a local store or an organization? Or is this like for Discord channel or something where it's the I haven't actually done any painting competitions yet, but it sounds really fun. I just enjoy unique challenges like that. Oh, cool! You get to add other basing materials. A lot of paint on that. They do say mediums are loud, but would metallic? Oh, yeah, I guess would metallic medium count as one that doesn't modify the color? Is the big question. And you kind of need a yellow if you want to do it as like a non-metallic. I've never tried, but I really want to get into non-metallic soon. All right, I got this brush way too dirty. Shit off there. Just keep dipping too far. Oh well. I don't know if we're let's see. Yeah, on the face of it doesn't really add a color as it's just like metal. Okay. Yeah, it's probably best to clarify that first. But yeah, if you can make something metallic without that's pretty sweet. You might have to link me that. I'm always looking for fun stuff that you can use to modify your working with. Is the area where you live do Halloween? Is that coming up soon for you or village? That sounds like quite a task, turning a brown into a yellow with just blacks and whites. But at the same time, it sounds like a fun challenge. You know, you'd probably learn a lot by just goofing around. Just, I feel like that's more of the point of a competition than winning necessarily, is having fun and trying new things. It's funny here in the U.S. we're kind of the opposite thing, where less and less kids do it. But to be fair, I used to live in a neighborhood where almost no kids showed up ever. And now I live in a slightly busier part of town, so it's more likely that I'm going to get trick or treaters. Thinking about ordering a like medieval monk costume and just saying I'm a watcher in the dark, which would double as a fun thing to wear for GTs if I were to ever go to a 2 day event. I had many years of not having to deal with that Halloween in general, but it's going to be my first year in quite a while where we have to go do something about it, go buy some candy, and not a big decoration person because I'd rather use that on other things. But partner, my living partner, she loves decorations, so reminding her we'd be better off going on vacation or to get her to not buy them. Probably switch to a different brush for this. We're gonna switch up brushes now. Well, we're probably gonna still travel in the U.S. As much as we'd like to go overseas to somewhere else, it gets pretty expensive, and we have rent to worry about every month. So, probably like Florida. My parents have a house down there that we can stay in. But she would love to go to all kinds of different countries, which maybe a someday type of thing. Oh shit. I'm fine with going pretty much anywhere that is not gonna be hostile to me for being who I am, which is, is most places, I suppose. No Americans get shit on in France, so that's a tough one. A lot of those Greece or Italy or England or the UK or stuff like that. I don't know. I'm open to all kinds of stuff. I really just like seeing new places. But I also don't like flying. The older I get, the less I enjoy flying. So the win or lose situation. Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of, just hearing about the shitty condition that some of our planes are getting into in the maintenance, and yeah, I'm getting more and more nervous about flying. How's your what you been doing with your free time besides painting and stuff? Like you watch any shows or uh, got any like side hobbies? I did not know that. Oh, there was an age limit. my main job is deck building. Just I think it was last year. Oh no, I think it was this year. We built a deck for a guy that used to work on planes and maintenance and stuff like that. And I think he did mention that he had to retire once he hit a certain age. Iron Ravens. Heard of them? Successor chapter? Probably Google it, but trust whatever your answer is. That's part of the trade. I should have. I'll get back to that. Ultramarine founding successor. Okay. The Raven Guard. Okay. There's so many successors these days. I just can't keep track of them all. Like when GW introduced that, like only 1,000 Marines to a chapter thing that was to try and get people to make more successor chapters. I'm guessing didn't work. Well, I think successor chapters is like the peak way to design a Space Marine army. If you're gonna get into Marines, like I play Dark Angels, which is pretty basic, I guess, but I think there's a lot of opportunity for originality and creativity doing that. Death Guard, Ultramarine, and Raven Guard. Weird. Okay, I have to look this up now. Oh, damn. That's a really cool color scheme. I really like that scheme. It's like I'm looking at GW art, and it looks like they did a Cantor blue for the blue parts, which I think is a superior blue to pretty much all the other ones. Hmm. Okay, that makes a little more sense. It's probably pretty late for you over there, right? I got maybe 3 to 4 hours till bedtime for me, which I am on Discord. I don't have a Discord channel, but I am on Discord. 1 a.m. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We don't work tomorrow. Right now it's 7 p.m. and I work in the mornings, so I'm probably going to try and get to bed by like 11 at the latest. Although sometimes getting sleep deprived and then just like watching silly shit on the internet, that can be a great time. I've had a lot of good laughs when the brain gets goofy like that. Oh, so that's yours. Okay. Oh, that looks nice. That looks really cool. Yeah, it just pulled up the image. I like that a lot, man. That's like normally I think red and blue I'm not a big Ultramarines fan, so when they like have red and both red and blue on the mini, I don't know, it's just like Superman and Spider-Man type. It's a little too vibrant for me sometimes, but this one looks really nice. The way blue is nice and dark, and the red highlights are beautiful. Yeah, they use the what transfers are you going to use? I'm assuming you're going to do like the scripture stuff that comes on standard Space Marine transfer sheets. Kind of have to use like non-chapter type stuff for that, I would imagine, just so that it's you can't necessarily slap an ultramarine. Forget what they call that U, the horseshoe shape, like Omega or something like that. Hair up in my brush. Yeah, toilet seat. I love it. I always forget that that's a nickname for it, and I'm gonna try and remember it now because that's my favorite. Actually, now that you show me that scheme, I feel like a friend of mine was talking to me about it recently. It's actually the only other person that usually comes in chat. Panda for his Twitch name, because we talk on Discord and stuff where he goes by different names. But yeah, he was looking at that scheme at one point too. I think that's a really cool scheme. Honestly, it's one of the few red and blue combinations that I enjoy. Really want to see that when you put transfers on it. So I'd say come by and show it to me. But like I stream super irregularly, so you have like an Instagram or something I can follow. I should double check if you. I might already follow you on Instagram actually. On the link. Yes, I already follow you. So really looking forward to seeing that pop up in my feed. Oh, that Tyrannid in your latest post looks really sick, but I like that. Oh yeah, I would hop in your Discord. I honestly don't chat in Discord a whole lot, but I tend to lurk quite a bit. Well, that's absolutely the Rose Dragon's Den. What is that one? Is that like your local gaming store, or is it Rose Dragon brings a bunch of other streamers together? Oh, okay. Just wait on that. There it is. Well, I would be okay with joining both of those, to be honest. Just like seeing what other people are up to. Song, I think it is. Yeah, I love this song. Sweet, thanks. Thanks for that link. God, the water's running up onto the top of my. Thank you for both of those links. Hey, don't worry, you're the only one here. It's not like your spam's gonna be. Oh yeah, look at that Geomancer. The glow on those green orbs, that looks really good. That a lot. And the blades on the staff. Chef's kiss. Yeah, I can tell you're not done yet, but the progress you've got in this picture looks really sweet. Makes me want to paint that guy too, actually. There it is. But I think the color on the orbs looks really good. I mean, if you wanted to pump up the OSL a bit, you probably could, but as far as the brightness of them go, it seems on point. And yeah, the blades look really nice. I started doing And you can see it in the Fulgrim that I did recently, but that more I don't know what to call it, Alec style power swords and stuff like that. It looks so much better. I've been meaning to watch more tutorials. I joined oh geez, that's too much black. Pull another paint off now. I joined oh gosh, what is I'm trying to can't remember now. Name. Richard Gray. I subscribe to his Patreon and have been watching a lot of his videos lately because I really like his style. And I learned a lot by watching him. Like just the power of stippling is not to be underestimated. Yeah, yeah. I've been very airbrush dependent for a long time, but being able to like quickly stipple in some colors that you blend after that, it's pretty amazing how similar of a quality of a result you can get in like half the time. Although when you really get into stippling, it is more involved and tedious thing. I've been meaning to try it on like a cape or cloth of some kind. You can get some really cool texture looks by doing it that way. Yeah. Nowadays, I tell people that airbrushing isn't an upgrade, it's just a side grade because the time it saves you in painting, you just end up doing cleaning it, especially when you need to swap colors. Like, you can just like pump some cleaner through it real quick, but after I want to say like two or three colors, it's best to take it apart and clean it, or you're going to get some clogging that you just really don't want to deal with. And like the consistency of the paint is very important with airbrushing. Like you really want to make it. It's like a Goldilocks, uh, where if it's too thick, you're going to get tons of clogging and tip drying. And if it's too thin, then it's going to spider web all over the model. And there's just so much nuance to it that if you can avoid by just doing some stippling, like do that. I'm sure you're probably getting ready to go to bed here soon, but just out of curiosity, do you play on the tabletop at all? Like, and if so, is it like 40K or Kill Team or Combat Patrol? God forbid, Apocalypse. I only ask because the more I've been focusing on painting, the less time I've had to play, and I am not a good gamer anymore because of it. If I ever was, yeah, I feel that. Like, I'm pretty bad at tabletop, so most of the time when I start getting my butt kicked on it, I end up thinking like I could just be at home painting right now. But I tend to always play with friends, so at least it's fun in that respect. And when I make good decisions, my dice tend to roll pretty poorly. So overall, I tend to get my ass handed to me. Which team do you major limitations to the way the team can be deployed? Are you talking about the Necron kill team? Oh yeah, I see what you mean. I actually played my first game of Kill Team in the new edition since it came out. It was three of us, including me. It was me playing against a friend of ours that doesn't isn't really into 40k, but is playing Kill Team with us to kind of just en- entertain our hobby in that regard. And I guess he was having a lot of fun with the Goatmen kill team, but I just brought a generic like Space Marine kill team to play because I wanted something that I could ease back into the game very simply with. I just wiped the floor with him. I felt so bad. He was clearly a little annoyed that he had to run through my whole gun line, and Space Marines shoot twice in kill teams, so he had a bad time. And I hope I didn't make him not want to play the game anymore. Be lying if I said I didn't get tilted once in a while when I'm losing pretty poorly. I mean, yeah, the like those 10-man kill teams usually have the characters that are meant to buff whoever you're sending in for the trade. And he's relatively new to the game, so it probably didn't occur to him to like stack buffs on one or two guys before committing to a fight with a space marine. Been meaning to try the chaos cult kill team where it's the accursed cultist box and they just like mutate. That one looks like a lot of fun, but I struggle with squishy models that require nuance and tact because I don't always think ahead as well as I should. Probably why it's good that I stick to Space Marines, but Yeah, that's like those 10-man teams have a lot of nuance and stuff that you have to know about in terms of like where you should be putting your buffs and you should stay hidden versus Unga Bunga in there. So I felt bad. I need to step away for like 30 seconds. Be right back. Okay, Johnny, heading off. All right. Thank you so much for stopping by, dude. Yes, well, I will absolutely try to show some activity in those two channels and share some of the networking love, I guess. It's always fun to see what other people are working on. And good luck with your painting competition. Making that brown flex to different colors for you. Thanks for stopping by, dude. Some good sleep, too. Seeing some spots that got missed with that rust, so let's go ahead and get back in those real quick. It's only been an hour. My ADD is screaming at me right now. It's cool to know I can work this fast. Oh, jeez. Macking my model on shit. Okay. Mariah Fox. Yes, this is Joe's Land Raider. Mostly working on the treads right now. Funny, like the day after he gave me these little metal scouts, they announced or they revealed that Space Wolf Scout Kill Team Scout Squad box, and I kind of chuckled to myself. Not that Joe, I don't think Joe cares, but I do too. I think Land Raiders are fun. Like, yeah, they're just basically a box with treads, but whatever, they're fun. I don't think I think anyone who expects Space Marines to look sleek and awesome like don't understand necessarily like they got into. I've seen a lot of people make fun of the Outrider bikes for similar reasons where they're just like square blockish things. You know, sometimes it's okay to be goofy in 40K. Maybe not as goofy as orcs. That's like their whole thing. Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. I think Outriders look fine. Like all Space Marine stuff is pretty blocky and squarish, sharp edges and stuff. The small bikes before, yeah, they looked pretty silly. That's why I don't use Chaos Bikers, because who knows when that's going to get updated. But Chaos Bikers are equally silly. I wonder if they'll ever give us Scout Bikers back. Yeah, I mean, I feel the same exact. I mean, you know, I feel the same exact way. They took away our frickin' Talon Master. That was our lieutenant. I really want Librarian on bike. I think Librarians are pretty cool. Shame that I just never have a good reason to run them. I mean, I know I've said this a billion times to you, but I want Captain on bike just so that I can get the reduce a strat by 1 CP for biker squads. Really annoying trying to run Ravenwing without that. Oh, you know what? That's a really good point. I hadn't even thought of that. That would be fucking sweet. Three B6? 3x6, okay, yeah. That's a lot of deployment zone space taken up, though. Outriders are on such a big base. Like, good luck squeezing all that in. Yeah, I mean, I think like that's why the Ravenwing detachment has so many. It has the enhancement that lets a squad count as not being in reserves as far as points go, and then it also has the strat to return a unit back to reserves. And I think those two things together are like really important if you're going to run all bikers, because you can't fit all that shit on the table. If you expose multiple biker squads, they're going to get blown to shit by exocrines and knights and whatever else is in the meta right now that I don't see very often. You should tell me more about your RTT. What were your matchups again? That's a good point. There is a lot of damage 3 around here. I'm sure I've met all these people, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. Necrons, Raven Guard, and Votan. Which one was the most difficult to fight into? I'm assuming. Oh, you brought Custodes. Yeah, that's right. Okay. I think Votan would be the most difficult for you just because of how easily they punch up. Melee Votan. Oh, that sounds so frustrating. Because they're mostly T5, right? Ugh. Fuck that. That's bullshit. They get T5 on their basic ass troops, and our Terminators are 180 per 5. I hate that. I get that dwarves are supposed to be sturdy, but is T5 really the best way to represent that? Even the scouts are T5? That's great. You're talking about the Jaeger squad where it's like the infiltrators in the trench coats? Reactive move is so good right now. What the heck? 2 AP for having knives? Are they super knives? Is some kind of like advanced vibrant knife or something? Like what? I bet you by like 12th edition, those are down to AP1 because they just gave them that to make them good since it's one of the few units that army can run. They're giving them higher stats to compensate for the lack of data sheets, I bet. What? Oh my god. It's ridiculous. So they get Azrael's fucking gun. Just ugh. Trying 10 damage. Good lord. Yeah, that our whole army punches up way too well in my opinion, which I don't know. If that's always going to be their thing, then fine, whatever, but like having them be durable and punch up that hard, it's pretty annoying. When I'm sitting here with Dark Angels with almost equal but worse stats. But you powered through and won still. Is this a Justin in the Twin Crusader Discord, or is this I don't know any Justins in the Twin Crusader Discord, but I would assume if they were in it, then I would at least know their username. Okay. I almost feel like there's too much rust left over in these, but I guess when I'm gonna dirty them up with dry pigments near the end too, so maybe it's okay. I can leave it be for now. What should I do next? I guess metallics maybe. What color should I make these things? I've seen some people make them gold and or metal or some sort. I'm not sure. What are these even supposed to be? Show what again? The treads? I painted them a bunch of rust and then I dry brushed it black. Oh, what are these things? These, I just no idea what these are. Eight hatches. Yeah. Yeah. I. It's funny because like I finished Keaton's Grimnar, and like the very next day, Joe messaged me like, "Hey, you got some stuff you can work on?" And I didn't know how soon I would be getting other stuff, so I said yes. And then the next day after that, I gave Keaton his Grimnar, and he obviously you saw, but he gave me this guy to paint too, which I'm fine. This won't take super long. But then my buddy gave me the Tyrannid kill team, which I'm gonna do for him. And then Kyle wants me to do Lord of the Rings models for him. So like technically I have like 4 commissions floating right now that I kind of have to balance. And then I have your stuff, of course. Like I got the helmet white on this guy, but I haven't done a whole lot. It's not fully white yet. I still have to clean up the white. He wants the Nids. He referenced he said he wants the chitin to be like a monarch butterfly. Sounds really fun to me. I'm really excited for that. And he was undecided on the fleshy parts, but honestly, if he's going for a monarch butterfly, I would probably just do him black. But I'm really excited to try that. Like a nice bright orange with like black spots sounds fun. Yeah, they really are. I like this guy, the bullhead guy or whatever the hell he is. Like he could head butt through a brick wall. Then I've been slowly on and off working on these guys. I've been doing mostly like the shoulder iconography camera. Hey, yes, I can. Oops. Where's this guy? I did the checker pattern on this guy 2 places. That was kind of fun. And like the tilting plate here. Oh, these yeah. You know, I've thought about that. Although I think technically I'm not supposed to because when you buy the file, it says that you can't like sell them for profit. It has to be personal use, like a legal agreement of some kind. So like I probably shouldn't. But I could give them away for free as part of like a I don't know, like a Patreon thing or like a bonus for recurring customers of commissions. You know what I mean? Like if this guy had a gun, I would offer to just put one on for you. This guy's so close to done. I just need to get him finished. By the way, remind me again. You're Fox. You wanted this white, right? I could probably do that pretty quickly. Yeah, I could probably do that Fox in like a day with some airbrush work and then maybe just some line work to make it look more like fur, depending on how the texture of the print comes out. Tiny blue tips on the ears and tail. Okay, yeah, I can do that. Black toe beans. Okay. Oh yeah, I might even have one just sitting around right now, honestly. You're gonna put a token on a 40 millimeter, huh? I mean, I guess since it doesn't really count for anything, you can just move it wherever, and he is a pretty big. Yeah. Yeah, like let's compare him to the bottom of this 40. Yeah. Yeah, I think a 40 is probably your best choice. Didn't Joe get you a fox too? A black, of course, a black nose. I mean, having two is nice, just in case you want to, like, as Ultramarines and proxy your Primarch guy as Gilliman for a game, because then you get two Oath targets. You could have the big one be your primary Oath, and then the small fox is your secondary Oath. uh, Also not a bad idea, I guess, because I don't know, why not have fun with it? Don't forget lethals or sustained if you sweep. I was gonna reference Okami, but that's not a fox, is it? That's like a wolf. I was gonna say it'd be pretty cool to have an army whose like main leader is just a big animal, but then I remembered that I'm pretty sure at least 2 Age of Sigmar factions have that. Joe didn't drill his barrel holes. Doesn't surprise me. You know what? It's been almost an hour 40. I deserve a little 15-minute or less break. I'm gonna take it. Okay, I am also back. All right, Fox, guess what? You were just over here the other day. Yeah, I ended up having to do more things than I thought I did. I had to feed the cats, give Pancake her medicine, then I had to step outside for like 3 or 4 minutes, and then I made a drink when I came back in. Turns out it added up to like 20. But anyway, you were over here recently, so this will be, I guess, mildly exciting news to you. But we went out and bought a couch the other day. It's not here yet, but it's coming on Wednesday. We're both super excited for it. You saw the living room, so it's not like a super big couch or anything, but finally have like hangout space in the living room. Yeah, I suppose you could. You could do like Warhammer Marathon, uh, 2 days in a row or something. And teach me how to not suck at Space Marines. Dude, I don't know if I've won a single 2,000 point game in all of 10th edition. The only immediate win I can think of is against Keaton and Crusade. I'm gonna have to refresh my memory. But I'm pretty sure my win rate is like 15%. I guess isn't saying a lot because I really haven't played a lot of games in 10. That's what I get for starting a painting business, I guess. You've seen the scheme for Joe's guys before, and he was talking about like making this a different color so that they can put like the chapter symbol, that like yellow circle with the claws on it. I was thinking of doing the whole thing yellow, but maybe I do something, I don't know. Maybe black and then the yellow circle. And I want to do the doors slightly different. Like maybe leave the doors black too. Just kind of, I've been thinking. And then like this little spot right in here. Yeah, black and yellow circle. Yeah, I think that's probably the better way to do it. I'm like thinking of what I can do that's not metallics right now. And I think it's mostly just metallics that I'm going to be doing, which I find a little boring at times, but it is what it is. I did buy more lead belcher the other day, so at least I have that going for me. Yeah, like they look exactly like raptors, but their symbol isn't raptors, and I don't know what's going on with that whole thing. I just treat it like raptors until it comes time for accent colors. Hang on one second. Hey, Bluetooth connected right away. Little zoom in remote. Yeah, I'm super excited for the couch. Like, the cats have kind of been refusing to like hang out with us upstairs when it's bedtime. So we're really looking forward to like hanging out with them down in the living room. They really like refuse to leave the living room for more than like an hour or two. It's bizarre. At night we're like, "Come upstairs and snuggle with us, you fluffers," and they just won't. They were pretty snuggly last night though. Oh, that's the gap that Joe was talking about there. I see now. Noticed that before when he was trying to tell me about it. Gap right in here. I've assembled a couple GW tanks, and I totally understand how that can happen. Sometimes the kits just don't. Who knows what's going on with that? Sometimes the pieces just don't fit together. Yeah, I feel that. I had similar experience with Firstborn Land Raider when I was building my, or not Land Raider, Land Speeder. When I was building my Talon Master, it's like really hard to get some of those pieces to just cooperate together. Although I think my Repulsor Executioner went together pretty well. Like I can't think of any major issues putting it together. Maybe it's just an old kit kind of thing. Come on, get in there. In there. Yeah. It must just be like an older kit type thing because I've never wait. Oh, I have assembled a Rhino, but it was like several decades ago at this point. I sold it to Axel back when I first started going to next level war games with most of the rest of my firstborn, except for the Terminators, of course, because ain't no way I'm parting with those. At least back when they didn't have a refresh yet. I'm thinking about it. I've met Ethan before. I met him back during the next level war games days. He seems like a nice dude. Yeah, if I recall correctly, he plays like demons and chaos knights, and I don't know what else, but I know he played those two at least. At least he had chaos knights when I chatted with him, like however many years ago that was. Yeah, I guess he probably would. He's gonna run a store. Ooh, EM Taco. Hello, and thank you for following. M Taco, EM Taco. Yeah, now I just want tacos. That just made me hungry. I haven't had a real dinner yet tonight. Your favorite kind of taco? Taco? Fox, I'm thinking about trying to just do commissions for winter instead of like getting another side job. Because if it stays the way it has been, where they just keep coming, then I might do that. I might try it out. Give me more time to stream too. But this camera's not doing a great job focusing, is it? Oh, I feel that. Sometimes just like putting on a someone else mini painting in the background while you're doing whatever you have time to do is it scratches that itch in a certain way. Oh geez, I didn't mean for that to fall off. I today I mostly did the get the treads all rusty looking and then dry brush some metallics over them. We're gonna be dirtying and grunging them up later at the end of the paint job, but I have a lot of other stuff to do on this first. This is technically my first time painting a full Land Raider because the one that I got was already painted when I bought it, so all I really did was touch it up a bit. Yeah. Yeah, painting Black Legion's pretty easy. I basically just painted over Gavin's lead belcher dry brush. What green did I use? Okay. am not a god of painting. The people I follow are so much better. I used grab all my paints so I can talk through it real quick. This was the three paints I used. I started with a 50-50 mix of these two, then just this one, then a 50-50 mix of these two, and then a tiny bit of just this one. And I think I might do some edge highlighting with this near the end. Yeah, I feel like Taco. I feel like non-metallic is it's like all the rage right now. And I would try it more if it wasn't so tedious. And I'd like to practice it for armor schemes at some point. But I mean, I most of the people at Paint for are happy with metallics, and I'm happy to keep doing it. It's just once you shade it and dry brush it a little bit, it's fine. It looks just as good, in my opinion. The only time I would really commit to like heavy non-metallic work is if I was gonna do like a competition of some kind, or it was specifically requested for a commission. Since this is a land raider, there's gonna be a lot of metallics to put down. Yeah, that's yeah. A lot of the like really top dog painters swear by non-metallic, and I think it sometimes it is a bit of a flex. Like they're trying to, because it does take a lot of skill to do non-metallic, but if you're only doing it to show that you can do it, then whoop-de-doo. Suppose in that regard, I'm probably more of a tabletop painter when you compare it to some of those painters. Yeah, it has really high contrast. Um, and like if you only do one model in non-metallic when the rest aren't, then it's gonna look weird in my opinion. So like if you're trying to like have your whole army match, you either do the whole thing in non-metallic metal or you don't. If it's gonna be on the tabletop, then odds are you don't want to do it in non-metallic metal because that's a lot of work. I want to get better at it because it does seem like a must know skill for display level painting. But right now I'm happy with my stuff just looking nice on the table. Not that this isn't for me though. This is commission work. I barely ever get to paint my stuff anymore. Yeah, so do I. Like I enjoy doing the weathered worn looks if it's right for the model, but sometimes it makes sense to just do a crisp, clean job, like a intercessor squad, for example. Like odds are it's first couple times on the battlefield, they're probably not that weathered or battle scarred. And you could get really, I guess, narrative with it and like add the weathering and the wear as the models gain more notoriety in the games that you play. If you really want thought about that, like add transfers and more details as they earn their rank. Salamanders have some pretty cool successors. What armies do you have right now, Taco? Would Salamanders be your first one, or do you already have some other stuff? Ooh, D&D minis. That's something I've wanted to try here and there. I had a friend who was into it for a little bit, but he gave it up. I have a commission coming in for some Lord of the Rings minis pretty soon, which I'm excited to try. That's going to be something I've never really done. They're smaller scale and more earthy tones, which I think is going to be a nice mix up from airbrushing metallics, like not metallics, but like a sheen type. I've never painted an orc, and I really want to someday. First time painting Tyranids will be pretty soon when I get to the kill team commission that I'm going to be doing. Sometimes I wish I had a small collection of salamanders, just because the idea of like tons of flamethrowers on the battlefield, that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Playing Space Marine 2 now, it's like, oh yeah, this flamer is freaking awesome. I really like salamanders. Maybe it's just because I like green a lot. I mean, Dark Angels are my first and true love, but salamanders are really cool. When you say the new Kill Team starter set, do you mean the one they just revealed of the Space Wolves versus Tau? Or is it the one that before that comes with a ton of terrain and stuff? I don't remember which one that is. There's so many now. I actually just played Kill Team very recently. Yeah, I so the previous stealth suits looked a little goofy. They were just like short and kind of like if you took a picture and squished it into the wrong aspect ratio, they just didn't look quite right. But the new scale, they look pretty cool. And now that like I feel confident painting white, I think it would be a much more enjoyable experience to try and get some of those painted up. I think all the models in that new Kill Team reveal look pretty cool. I'm not even a big fan of Tau, but those stealth suits do look really cool. It's always nice when they upscale the proportions a bit and like get them looking. I don't know what you call. I know that in the past it was like a heroic scale, so I'm not really sure if that still qualifies for what GW is making, but typically heroic is like a smaller body with a bigger head, to my understanding. I'm a big D&D player, but our group only plays online, so we've never really used minis. But man, if I could get the group to play in person, well, I was the first person to insist that we go online only during the COVID times, but always wanted to play with minis for D&D. All my fault. What? That we're online only for our D&D? Uh, should host D&D. I'll think about it. I have some of those mats that you roll out and you can like draw on with the dry erase markers and stuff. I used to host in-person sessions, but man, online is so convenient. Like being able to make your own maps and pull any image off of Google that you want for your tokens and stuff. It's real sweet. Hard to give that up. Oh, the album is done. I gotta put on a new song. Oh, it's not done. Okay, one more song. I used to play D&D in a gross, dirty basement. I've been there. And I don't know if I ever want to go back. It's in the first house I ever moved into after leaving my parents' place. And always my group jokes that we all lost a few years of our lives just sitting in a wet, moldy basement playing D&D. Oh yeah, Taco, I completely agree. Like nothing really compares. Once in a great while I will log into Dropout TV and watch some of their D&D sessions that they run with like real minis and tables and stuff, and I get so jealous because that stuff looks really fun. Theater of mind is fun and all, but like at the end of the day, like seeing your mini smash another mini to pieces, figuratively on the table, pretty sweet. Like and seeing the scale of like a dragon for reals instead of just a circle, a 4x4 or 3x3 circle on the table, like you said, the immersion really it gets kicked up a notch that way. I have thought many times about building my own gaming table. With like the removable top, so it's like you can have the top that sits on it, like cards and stuff, and then you can take that off, and it's got like the recessed playable area where dice won't roll off the table and stuff. I really want to do something like that. Excuse me. And I actually own a 3D printer, so like I could make some D&D minis pretty easily now. Since a lot of those are, it's very easy to make those without getting hit with copyright strikes and stuff like that. Okay, Fox. Well, you can do that. I have a couple campaign ideas I've been meaning to flex on. I'm usually a player, so I haven't DM'd in a very long time. When I play cleric because cleric is one of the best. Shout out to sorcerer and barbarian though; those are all pretty fun. Oh yeah, Hero. I forgot Hero Forge makes custom STLs now. That's yeah. Fox Paladins are pretty cool. They did get a little. I want to say that uh, Paladins get forced into a certain way to build now, where it like because they can smite when they crit. So you kind of like a lot of paladin builds just boil down to fishing for crits and then smiting when you get the crit. But paladins are very cool, and you can flavor them a lot of different ways. But I'm a big full caster fan. I Sorcerer was my first love when it comes to D&D classes. There's actually a really epic I don't know if it's epic, but it's such a great moment that my first character ever, I wanted to make like a decrepit old beggar who was like almost senile and he had cataracts and he was just like useless at everything, but he was like blessed by the god of karma so that people who gave him money in his cup would be more likely to get buffs from him. Uh, and back in the day, the only two subclasses were like wild magic and draconic, so I just went with wild magic. There was a moment in Out of the Abyss where we were getting eaten alive by like centipedes or something, and my character got killed. But right before he died, I actually had a proc on the wild magic table, which is a 5% chance to happen because a 1 on the d20. But then I rolled on the d100 table, which I have not played 3.5, although I would really like to try it. I don't know if I'll ever convince my main group to try it. Staunchly 5th edition 2014 players, but anyway, my beggar character died, the wild magic procced, and then I rolled on the table, and while the group was like resolving the rest of combat, I noticed on the table that I had rolled your character resurrects if they are killed in the next minute. And that was like the only wild magic I rolled the whole campaign. Just happened to bring my character back from the dead. And he came back as a dwarf who was only sane when he was drinking. My character was kind of insane from senility to begin with. So it's just like a really, like a what are the odds type situation that we all kind of talk. But ever since then, I just love sorcerers. And I've always been a big sucker for like elemental casters, like full frost or fire or whatever, lightning, whatever you want to do. I love sorcerers. And yeah, I would love to get into 3.5. Um, I've heard from a lot of the veteran players that it's the best edition. And I think I can get past the complicated rules at this point. I've played enough RPGs where that's not really an issue. Mostly like the finding a rule book or reading all the rules and convincing some people to play it with me. I'm actually playing a fighter right now in my current campaign. It's a Eldritch Knight. I'm having a lot of fun with that. Like that class always feels so weak, but I gave him a bunch of like push and pull cantrips and a couple AoEs, so I feel like I have a lot of utility in combat. Now the album's done and I need another song. No, I haven't listened to techno drum in a while. They don't get copyright strikes or anything for this. Yeah, 5 is better for being streamlined for sure. Which I think is more beginner friendly, which is probably why it's a good thing I got into that first. But I've been playing the D&D now for like almost 10 years, so like I am very confident I could pick up 3.5 pretty easily. Oh yeah, they added samurai as a subclass. A dwarven samurai, that's so cool. Oh, focus on the battle. That's a really cool flavor. I think I'm not saying I'm going to steal that idea, but I might borrow some inspiration for that sometime. Although in my group there is one guy who's like a forever fighter. It's like his favorite class, but he's also our main DM, so he doesn't get to play very often. I've played almost every class as well. I think Warlock is my least favorite just because you're so stuck with little spell slots and the few cantrips that you pick, but I do like I bounce back and forth between full casters and like hard martial characters. Played a barbarian monk recently, which was a lot of fun. It was really funny to like push people off cliffs and then jump off the cliff down towards them. Just ignore the fall damage and keep beating the piss out. Although I think as far as races go, dwarf is probably my least played. Oh, did you have like a really low int or wisdom or something? Yeah, Fox Samurai. I remember Samurai being kind of weak when they first unveiled it. Although I might be thinking of the Unearthed Arcana version. I'm guessing they made it better before it got published in whatever book they released it in. I kind of stopped buying books after Tasha's uh, something of everything, or I forget which book it is, but they started releasing a ton of supplements, and that's kind of when I just said I'm good with what I got. Yeah, at the time that Samurai came out, martial classes were just a little weak in general. But I think that's mostly because people don't run enough encounters in a day. Like, if you have more than 3 encounters in a day, suddenly fighter getting all their stuff back on short rest is really, really good. And if you trick the casters into like burning all their spell slots before the end of the day, then yeah, good luck with that. You're back to your firebolt. It's still better than a sword most of the time. Maybe not. I don't know about a yeah. By level 5, a firebolt is what 2d8 damage. 10. No, it's not an Eldritch Blast. I can't remember anymore. A while since I played a caster, even though I'm how much I love them. But yeah, Marshall's kind of live or die based on like how the DM is running time in a day and the amount of encounters in that day. Because they can really shine if there's lots of encounters. Chaotic neutral. No wonder people were upset. Did you cook him with heat metal? Because that spell is like I know some people talk about how good it is, but it's I think people are still sleeping on that spell. That's a really powerful spell, especially if you're. I don't know if they changed it in the 2024 rules, but 2014, 2d6 fire damage every turn is pretty nuts, especially when you don't have to spend an action for it after the first cast. Or if you upcast, that's not even if you upcast it either. It takes like what 10 minutes to get off heavy armor, so have fun with that. Hard to tell where the plating on this bolter begins in the metallic part. Leave it be for now. Nice. I actually have Shocking Grasp on my Eldritch Knight for the campaign right now, just because like I have like 23 AC right on that character, but sometimes it's nice to disable an opportunity attack before you position. But oh yeah, I think in 5th edition, it gets like a advantage if they are wearing metal armor, but that's it's always nice when you can scare. I don't know if like I know some parties say like never ever do PvP, but if you can intimidate the other players so that they never want to PvP to begin with, and that's always a nice role play moment where they're like scared of your character for a little bit. And you're like reminding me of back when my group first started playing and we were doing crazy shit like that. Blowing up a methane swamp, though, that sounds like that's the type of thing that the NPCs will talk about for a few years. A party broke through town and blew up the swamp. Haven't seen them since. I'm just going to make an executive decision and choose that these are metallics because they look like some type of rotating piston or axle of some sort. Yeah, I think level 11 or 12 is about as high as our group ever got. Like, after that, it gets a little. Everyone's so powerful that encounters almost become narrative. I don't know if 3. I'm assuming in 3.5, there's probably even more power creep past level 10, just because you can get away with some wild shit in 3.5. Does 3.5 still have 10th level spells, or was that after the whole spell plague getting rid of those thing? Do 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 do. Okay, yeah, I think most campaigns don't bother going to level 20 for the reasons you just listed, where it's just hard to keep the stakes high as players get more and more powerful. After a while, the DM just gets frustrated with players trivializing encounters with a single spell. With like illusion, like for example, phantasmal terrain. Like if you have a DM who is cool with, will allow you to like influence creatures via illusions. Our forever DM tends to lean on the side of, oh, I'm skipping this one. It's hard to make illusion magic work in our campaigns. Oh, geez, I just bent that. Because yeah, I think our DM. It's not that he has characters ignore the illusions we set up, but sometimes just a good roll on the d20 is enough to make them not care anymore. I've always wanted to play like a fun illusionist that can trivialize encounters with stuff like that. Yeah, it's hard to keep the interest going when I think past like level 8. Level 9 and above, it's like if you want to challenge them, you have to throw like a dragon at them or some really heavy-handed politics that they can't just spellcast their way through. Okay, Fox. Well, I'm not going to forget you said that because I am totally willing to run gritty realism campaign, right? Like I'll add the injury system into the game. If you get crit, there's a chance you like lose an eyeball or something. Like who knows, you know? Super nitty gritty. Okay, I don't know about that. Like I like nitty gritty to enhance the implications of fights. Like when characters start a fight, I want them to think, "Oh no, something bad might happen," not "Oh no, my health pool might get dropped to 0." Like yeah, I want the stakes to feel higher without necessarily making it more challenging. 5 sessions just in a court? Oh god. Okay, that's a bit much in my opinion. I have Taco, I have played one of the Star Wars RPGs. I don't remember which one it was. I know it used the D100 system, and I think I made like some kind of like tech character, like a basically an artificer, but in Star Wars was what I was going for. But we didn't make it very far. I think we all just lost interest too quickly. Um, but yeah, I've done Star Wars, Call of Cthulhu, D&D. We even tried adapting the Star Wars system for a Fallout campaign one time, but that also didn't make it very far. I think sometimes our DM doesn't have the balls to like actually threaten our lives because he wants to keep it going. A Mandalorian. Wait, you were a Mandalorian bounty hunter. Wait, what? Are you talking about the court thing still? Because I thought that was a D&D thing. Or you were playing a D&D character that was inspired by a Mandalorian bounty hunter? You're going to have to clarify that, which one you're talking about there. There's this old YouTuber character personality called Booney, or Counter Monkey was, I think, the name of the channel. But he had this old adage when running Star Wars campaigns of either everyone's a Jedi or nobody's a Jedi. And I kind of stand by that. Like, if you can get the whole group to agree that one person's allowed to be the Jedi, that can be fun, which is what our group did. But like everyone has to be in agreement for that kind of thing. Otherwise, it turns into like special snowflake syndrome. Okay, I got you, Fox. Taco, I've been meaning to look into Warhammer tabletop RPGs. So if there's one in particular that you've heard is good. Oh, I didn't know Edge of the Empire was D6, so I must not have played that one because the one I played. Oh no, it was D6, but it was like they weren't 1 through 6. They had success and failures on them, and you would roll multiple of them, and then they would average out. And it was where D&D is very binary. It's like you either succeed or you don't. I remember this Star Wars one we played was it might be Edge of the Empire. It was very much like yes and or no and where like yes you succeed but this happens also and no you don't succeed but you get this little like I like that system. There's more granularity to it and more ability to weave a story within the results of the dice. And yeah, the force can just be a bit overpowered, like especially when you let players get away with anything they think they can get away with. I'm gonna have to check that out because I would love to DM a Warhammer RPG. I really enjoy grim, dark settings, like really nitty gritty. You know, I like when I can um, not traumatize the players, but make them feel uneasy with the world that they're living in. Because then it encourages them to want to like change it or apply their own uh, ideas to it, and that's where you can kind of play with a lot of push and pull between the DM and the players in a way that keeps them engaged. You want to be a sister of silence? Okay. Well, I'll think that over. Maybe this group you're proposing would be a good way to like test run some of this stuff. $25 for 27 books? Wow. Okay. I might have to look that up later. Is it PDFs or actual physical books? I'm fine with either. I was just curious. God. I don't think I have links banned in this channel yet, mostly because I am not very savvy when it comes to bots and Twitch rules and stuff. I'm sure one of these days I'll click on the wrong link and get myself in trouble for it, but okay. Sick. Wow, that's a lot of books. I'm tempted to get it, even though I'll probably only end up reading one or two of them in the next year or two. Yeah, I've really wanted to run a Warhammer campaign. Oh, Age of Sigmar too. Okay. I don't know a lot about the Age of Sigmar world yet, even though I have an Age of Sigmar army, technically. I've been actually intending to get back into a Total War 3 Warhammer just so that I can learn more about the Age of Sigmar world, because that's part of that whole thing. Yeah, Taco, when you have a group that's been gaming for so long, like everyone kind of falls into that rut of like, well, we've been doing this for so long, we might as well keep doing it. Then someone's like, let's try something new, and at least one person will be like, I don't know. There's a little bit of a struggle. We're a pretty small group now, though, so it might be easier for me. I enjoy 40K on the tabletop, but I think the world is big enough and deep enough that it really could uh, facilitate a strong narrative tabletop type gaming experience. I think the hardest part would just be getting everyone to agree to play an Imperium type character, right? Like one person's going to want to play a Necron and one person's going to want to play a Tau or something, and it's just going to be like, guys, we how do we explain this abomination of a party? Although at least one of my friends in my D&D group has been playing Rogue Trader, so that and he's a 40K fan, so like that's a decent start. I guess maybe the one of the strengths of a TTRPG for Warhammer would be that you don't have to necessarily be an Imperium storyline. You could play a bunch of chaos cultists who are trying to form their own warband or something. I mean, I guess technically the possibilities aren't endless, but they're wide and deep. I've gathered that name you pick. Okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Free trader, inquisitor, what have you. Yeah, yeah. That does seem like the better way to do it. You had me up until I read Eldar and orcs living together, but I guess there's probably more absurd things going on in the 40k universe. That is a wild thing to have to get people to accept who have a shallow knowledge of the 40k universe like I do. I don't read a lot of Black Library books, so I'm not necessarily in the know on what kind of things have been considered acceptable in terms of like alliances and stories. I've seen some old alliance charts though, like things like certain factions being like alliances out of desperation and stuff. So I guess it's not uncommon. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing is that the players have options for their what they are allowed to run. Because if it's like you have to be Imperium. Okay, well you can be an admech, you can be a sister of battle, and you can be a rogue trader or like an inquisitor, but that doesn't leave a whole lot. People to feel like they have the ability to kind of make their own character and I think the 40k world, like you could use desperation as an excuse for weird alliances. So some of those more out there ones would be explainable out of the simply like things are messed up and we're just doing what we have to do. Would fit in a 40k setting pretty well given how grim dark it is. My lady come home for a minute. It is 9:30 here, so I'm probably going to be hopping off soon. I feel like I've gotten most of the metallics covered, but I'm sure the further I go, the more I'll realize that is not the case. Pretty happy with the way these treads turned out, especially once we coat them in some black and brown dry pigments. I think it'll look real nice and dirty and weathered. Oh, we could put some metallics down here, actually. Out, I didn't look at the desktop volume. Taco, we talked a lot about conceptual D&D, but any like fun stories from any of your characters besides the methane swamp thing? Any like holy shit, what are the odds of that happening type stories? or Fox for that matter? Do you have any D&D stuff? Anybody out there one shot Strahd? That was a joke, of course. That should never happen. Well, sometimes that's the way she goes, you know? On the one hand, I applaud trying to hide from a dragon, even though you may have known that they have true sight, although I think some of them don't. Quite a task. Does your DM do the thing where if a dragon eats you, you're just straight up dead, or do they give you a chance to like cut your way out of the stomach if you have time? I think we had that happen once to one of our players, and it was like you're taking acid damage every turn. It was a lot. I think someone might have successfully like made the dragon vomit them up or once or something like that. It's always tough to balance, like, get that balance between epic, fun, exciting things versus realism, you know? Realistically, if you get swallowed by a dragon, you're probably just dead. What am I doing tomorrow? Working until 5, probably, and then coming home and continuing commission painting. As it probably should be, Taco. Well, my partner has returned home, so I think I'm gonna call it a night. It's also kind of approaching my bedtime anyway, so well, approaching, but maybe play a game with you. Fox, I would love to. Don't know about weekdays right now because we're working on a really big deck right now. It's maybe Saturday or Sunday. I know Vanessa's having friends over on Saturday, so maybe if I really want to get out of the house, we can play on Saturday. Otherwise, maybe Sunday. But that's usually our time together. So I would like to get a game in, preferably one where I have a chance of winning. Um, yeah, I'm gonna be turning in for the night. Um, Taco, I really appreciated you coming by and chatting D&D with me. It's always fun to few times. Uh, Hope to see you again around here sometime. You guys have a good night, and I don't have a fun sign off slogan, so just amen, I guess. Bye.